Mr. Rai, for joining in. First up, your first 9 months have been very good. The profits have grown by nearly 34%. You also have increased your capacity from close to 150 million per year to about 225 million. What exactly is the capacity utilization you're currently functioning at, and what does this mean in terms of increased revenue going forward?
Good morning, and thank you for having me on your channel. Yeah, we have increased our capacity from about 150 million cables about 3 years ago to 225 millions, which is currently the capacity. If you include the Westcon capacity, which is in the US and Mexico, our total group capacity is at about 250 million cables, of which I think we are at about 60% capacity utilization level now, 60-65%. So going forward, we don't see any need for a major capex to increase our capacities. Our capacities are in place, and we look forward to a good couple of years ahead after the demonetization as well as the GST coming in, and we are fully ready to take on those opportunities.
Hi, Mr. Rai. Good morning. You're also a major exporter of cables to global automotive players. And yesterday, the export data was very strong for the month of February, a double-digit growth of 17.5%. If you could tell us what percentage of your revenues come in from exports, and are we seeing increased growth from the global markets?
Yes, actually, January and February months have been very robust for our automotive exports from our both the subsidiaries in India as well as in the UK. Exports have really added to the luster of Suprajit in the last few years. Particularly this year, I think we have been able to bag quite a few new businesses, mostly for the European as well as the US markets. So these businesses are also coming at good margins. So I think in the next 2-3 years' time, the Suprajit's growth will be quite well helped by our automotive exports. So that's why we always say that as a consolidated group, our business domestically will grow the way the domestic growth is, but on a consolidated basis, we'll continue to outperform the industry growth in India, and we expect to have fairly good years ahead in our export business.
All right, Mr. Rai, you speak about exports having good margins. Can you give us the breakup between margins that you enjoy in the domestic business and the exports business? And talking about exports, the rupee is also at a 16-month high, near 16-month high. What kind of impact do you think that can happen, or the company can see on account of the strength in the rupee?
But as far as the forex is concerned, we typically sort of do a forward cover for at least 50-60% of our net position for the group. So on a group basis, the forex fluctuations that may happen up or down, to the extent of about 50-60% gets covered on a forward basis. Whereas in terms of the margins, I think if you look at Suprajit standalone and Suprajit Consolidated, which is our subsidiaries which are only in the export business, there is about 200 basis, 300 basis point improved margins at the subsidiaries than at the parent.
Okay.
So far in the last few years, as they were growing in size, sorry, go ahead.
We're running out of time, so very quickly then, just one last question. Q3, there was an impact of demonetization and your revenues declined. If you could tell us, Q4, have things normalized? Is it going to be a growth quarter?
Between Suprajit and Phoenix together, I think it will be a quarter where there would be a small marginal growth. The demonetization effect has still affected January, but February has been more or less flat. So March hopefully will be slightly better. So I would say overall we will be flat for the Q4 on a standalone basis. On a consolidated basis, we will continue to grow at 20+%.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mr. Rai, for